Hello, team. So I now feel qualified to be able to refer to anyone that might be watching these videos in a more collective term because I've had not stacks of people, but I've had the odd person get in touch just to say that they're watching the videos, and as always, I know that my dad's watching them, so hi, Dad. Um, so that's cool. I don't have a massive focus for these things on how many people are watching. Content creation wise, I've always done something that I'm interested in and passionate about, trying to use some of my experience with the idea to potentially help other people, and that's the whole point of getting into coaching in the first place as well. I've always enjoyed teaching and educating and passing on knowledge, and same with coaching and personal development as well, trying to use some of my experiences in my life so far and sort of hard won lessons from experience from my career so far. And my general rule with these things is, yes, I know I obviously don't have the most followers, I don't have the biggest audience, but if anything that I'm saying is going to have even a little bit of an effect on someone else's life in a positive way, then I consider that to be my job done. Anyway, that's not not what I want to talk about. Um, so I don't know at what point I'll be releasing this, but the topic really is about having it all. Um, and the reason why I was thinking about this was this week. So this week at the time when I'm recording this video, so there might be a bit of a lag in terms of when this comes out. But the Prime Minister of New Zealand has just resigned, so Jacinda Ardern, who has, in my opinion, been absolutely fantastic. She's been a great kind of force for good and a real fantastic leadership role model, for anyone, male or female. But inevitably these things get turned into something else when they get into the media, when they get into social media, and when people start to dissect them a bit. So one particular thing that I had seen on a couple of platforms was around um, having it all, and there was a particular spin on it which people haven't been very happy about, and I can totally see why that is. So just in case you haven't followed this story, she essentially has said that she's standing down because she just she feels like being the leader of a country is quite a demanding job, which is probably the understatement of the year. Um, yeah, no respite at all. So she just feels like she doesn't have enough in the tank to continue doing the job justice, which is a fantastic level of self awareness, and probably not something that the majority of world leaders would do, because I think it's all about power for a lot of people. They just don't want to let that power go. And I just think it's another reason why Jacinda Ardern is absolutely fantastic. So she's taken a decision to step back from that leadership role, and she's being generally celebrated for it. I think from what I've seen, but I might be a bit biased by the profiles that I follow. I've certainly seen the odd little bit of good riddance and all that kind of stuff, which you inevitably get. And then there were some articles in mainstream media that came out, and they turned it into a gender thing, obviously, possibly unconsciously, but who knows? And it was, you know, Jacinda Ardern resigns. Can a woman really have it all? And this is where you kind of get into strange and dodgy territory. Why does this have to be about gender? Because actually, I read there was some stuff posted about it on I think it was LinkedIn, and people were saying, well, of course you can have it all, and why does it matter whether you're a man or a woman? Which I totally agree with, but it did get me thinking, and this has been a longer term thought of mine and theory of mine, is that I think we need to really ask the question: can any of us really have it all? So I think gender is utterly irrelevant. Obviously you've got men can't have, ignoring any kind of wider gendering issues, broadly speaking, men are less burdened by, less expectations and less burden of childcare, if you want to call it that. I don't mean that to sound negative, but, having kids and sort of looking after them is hard. There's no getting past that. So women are generally more sort of burdened by having to sort of childcare and stuff, and so being the initial primary carers for children. On the whole, there are some exceptions, obviously. So yes, there are some differences. I'm not saying it's a level playing field at all, but I think we need to also take a step back and think about, can we really all have it all? Because there's a lot of people saying yes, of course you can have it all, and I don't really think that's true. And I have been thinking about this recently. I was gifted, my mother in law gave me the book 4,000 Weeks Time Management for Mortals. So just reminding myself of the title and the author because it's sitting next to me, by Oliver Burkeman. And I started reading it over the festive period, and I find it quite hard to cram in reading around life in general. But I've been chipping away at it, and I'm really enjoying reading it. And even though I'm only in the early stages of it, it's really got me thinking. And it is all about 4,000 weeks. On average, we will have about 4,000 weeks on this earth. I'm possibly, by that math, I'm about halfway through my 4,000 weeks, and it is also part of Stoic philosophy as well that we consider that life by its very nature is finite. So if you frame it in those terms, then you can't really have it all. So you have to kind of accept that you're not going to be around forever. You're not Star Lord's father, Ego, from Guardians of the Galaxy. You're not immortal. You have limited time on this earth. So then you are actively having to make choices about what you do. And if you think about it, if you zoom way, way out in life and think about it, there is an unlimited number of paths that you can take in your life, little branching off decisions multiple times every day that can take your life off in completely different directions. There is absolutely no way for you to be able to do all of that, do absolutely everything in life. It really comes down to how you define all. It might be that the people who say you can have it all are saying, well, actually, I decided that this is what I wanted to do with my life, and I have done that, so therefore I have it all. And I think that's fantastic, and I'm a big fan of, individual language. What does that mean to you? So if that's what all means to you, then fantastic. You have it all. You should be, really pleased with yourself. Um, I mean that genuinely. Hopefully, it doesn't come across as sounding sarcastic. But then beyond that, we are all just having to make decisions about what we do day to day. We're having to prioritize. Um, I think about some of the decisions I've made over the years. Like, I've had various aspirations over the years, some of which I've achieved, some of which I haven't. I was in the territorial army for a little while and had, visions of doing things with that. But then actually it was going to impinge on my sort of work-life balance, my family balance. So I decided not to pursue that anymore. I stepped back from sports medicine after getting fairly heavily involved in that for a number of years. And you have kind of lofty ambitions of, being the Lions touring doctor and all that kind of stuff. But I decided that I didn't want to compromise my family life and my work life balance. And if you look at the most successful people in the world, yes, we can see the amazing success and the amazing kind of financial independence that it might be that um, they they have essentially. But equally, we know nothing about the sacrifices that they've had to make. Are you telling me that they have got to where they are without compromising any other area of their life? So, again, it really depends on what you mean by having it all. Um, Ultimately, I think it comes down to we need to understand what's important to us so that we can prioritize and we can decide what enough looks like for us or what all looks like for us, depending on what's going to make you happy from that point of view. So that's just a few of my thoughts on having it all. I don't really think like you can have it all, but it absolutely comes down to how you define it. Let me know what you think of having it all. What is your all? Do you believe that you can have it all? And I will look forward to speaking to you in the next one.